Hey guys, this is Megan. I wanted to talk about some of the latest stuff I've been doing with regards to my mold poisoning. So my new functional medicine practitioner had me retest my house with my ERMI test, ERMI, to see if I have mold in my house. And unfortunately, it is in this house. I've been in this house for 5 years. And the first mold tester we had come in 2 years ago, and they just did the air test. You guys, don't rely on the air test. It has nothing to do with tracking down the mold that's in your house. Unfortunately, you think you're fine, you do this test and you're like, yep, nope, good to go. We had no idea. And I just don't understand what the point of their job is, because they can't detect mold with an air test. They're like, nope, you're good. So 2 years later, we found out, nope, with an ERMI test or HERTSMI test, HERTSMI-2, they're like Swiffer dusting tests. You take a Swiffer duster that comes in the kit and you dust on the tops of all of your cabinets and like your vents and stuff. And then you send the dust away to a lab, and then their lab will tell you whether or not there's mold in there. And 50% of houses have mold, you guys, and we can't see our mold, and most people can't see their mold, and that's just how it works. So unfortunately, mold is a big deal. So test, you guys. But the recommendations I'm going to make are, it's hard because, so that came back and then we're like, oh my gosh, great. So what does that look like? The best way, we're in California. So the best way to have the least amount of work done on your house is to, in Northern California, there is one dog. There is one dog who can sniff out mold, and it's called the Nose Patrol. And I'll put the information down below. The Nose Patrol. And this really nice guy, I think his name was Michael, he had his mold sniffing dog. Her name was Bagel. She's this cute beagle named Bagel. And so he goes around your house and he basically has the dog sniff for mold, and then he'll put a piece of blue tape on the house on the areas that there's mold. And then after he's done with that, he'll sit with you and you basically take your own notes. And so he'll sit with you. It's like a 4-hour appointment. He'll tell you, okay, the biggest mold areas are in this area and this area. He's like, that's where I would really tackle first. He's like, these other areas are smaller. He can just tell the way that the dog is reacting, you know, where the heavy mold areas and where's the minimal mold areas. So yeah, we have mold everywhere. Okay. So mainly for us, it's in areas where there was probably water damage, we're guessing. So in the kitchen, duh, water pipes. In the bathroom, duh, water pipes. So, and then we have a lot of like other places, like all in the walls, but he's like, those don't seem to be as prevalent. And so we're focusing on removing mold, bathroom renovation, and then kitchen. So hopefully that'll help us get moving in the right direction. So that's the first thing I would recommend. He was $1,200 and it's gonna save us money in the long run. This is the only thing that directs you on where the mold is, because otherwise these guys will come in and they'll just like be like, well, we just have to rip the house down like to the studs so we can find it, because they just don't know where it is. They'll use tools and stuff, but then they're like, well, we don't know exactly where it is, so we just have to keep pulling out sheetrock and basically like rip your house down. And I know that's generic in me saying that, and I'm not a mold specialist. Like, I don't know how to do it, you guys. But honestly, this is the only thing that's going to save people money. But there's just no availability with this mold dog, you guys. It's unheard of. There's one other mold dog that we know of who's in Florida that can come out to your house and do this. So it's just, I mean, it's a big deal. This is something that the rest of the country needs to get on, because these mold guys, they need some direction. Okay. So, it's going to save people thousands and thousands of dollars. So the $1,200 was like totally worth it. So then my, functional medicine practitioner, Dr. Tracy McCarthy, she is over in Davis, California. She recommended, she has 3 different mold removal specialists who are recommended. They're top tier, of course, very expensive, and they are going to remove the mold to the to like the medical degree that we need it to be removed. So for like, they only are basically working with people who are super sick, and you need that mold out of there to be able to heal. So that's kind of our level. That's where we're at. So the first guy I talked to is James Weber. He's the only one I had come out to the house because I kind of got the gist from there. And he's like, okay, all of the blue tape from the dog that is all along the walls, he's like, that tells me the mold is in the floor. So that was unfortunate to hear. Shocking. I mean, our house is 50 years old, shocker. And so usually the mold happens either during construction of a house because it's raining, or the mold happens years later because your house is aging. So doing renovations and being on top of that is kind of how you keep the molds out of your house. So just taking care of your house and, you know, making sure it's not breaking down, that's how you keep mold at bay, because you're not going to see it, you guys. We don't see any mold. And it's all up in this house. We had an ERMI test of 30, and it's hugely high. It's extremely high. It shouldn't be higher than, I think, like 10 or 15 for it to be okay. Yeah, not okay. So that's happening. And so he gave me all this information, and basically it still is expensive because James is like, okay, we come in and we rip up the floor, and he's like, and then we just go and find it, and we just go and find it and keep digging it up, and it'll lead us to the next thing that needs to be removed, and we just keep going. He's like, I can't even give you a price, but like the base price, he's like, is like 30,000. He's like, that's just to get in there. And he's like, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be more than that. It's going to be way more than that, because once you get in, you can see what's going on in there, and then you actually keep adding up the cost of what it's going to cost. So we're all just like, we don't have like 60 plus grand to throw at this, you know, all of the sick, like health, the people who have the worst health have like the lowest amount of money once they get to this point. If they've figured out they have mold poisoning and it's in their house, we're out of money, man. Like that is just reality. And so once that all kind of simmered down, and we talked about it, like my husband and my dad are just going to kind of do the work. And it's not recommended to do that, unfortunately. Like, I am not a mold specialist. I don't recommend any of this stuff. I don't know anything about this. This is not my job. But my husband has purchased different equipment to go around and find, like, you know, the moisture meters and all these different things. And he's like, it's not as bad as they're saying. So we're definitely going to demo the bathroom and do the kitchen. But, you know, like we're going to do the work ourselves. So that's all we can afford, man. Like, it has to be good enough. You just got to trust God, man, because you're like, okay, nobody's a gajillionaire. Like, you know, this has to be good enough. This is all we can literally do. So, but I would definitely recommend the Nose Patrol, that mold sniffing dog, because that is where you are going to really be able to focus either doing it yourself, which is not recommended, or getting your specialist out there to do it as well. So that is what I would say, you know, if you're kind of in that position to get those things done. But hopefully that helps, because it is so stressful and overwhelming. And I will keep you guys updated on how that goes. We haven't done any of that yet. We're still in the prep stage. And even our mold sniffing dog guy, Michael, from the Nose Patrol, his wife has had chronic illness. And so she's the one who they kind of have stumbled upon that there's mold in their house. And he's like, we haven't even dealt with the mold in our house. He's like, it is so expensive. And he's like, we're just moving forward, like one step at a time, just like everybody else. And like, we're going to figure it out. And it's slow. It's just slow going. It is not this super quick fix unless you have tons of money lying around. I'm like, who's got that? So hopefully this is helpful just to give you some good direction, because, you know, I'm telling everybody I know, because people need help. This is serious and nobody knows what to do. And like, nobody knows where to go and get more resources, information. Like, even when you're on the internet, you just don't know where to search. So hopefully this helps you guys. And I'll link all the information I talked about below. Thanks.